The easiest thing is actually to go space with a rocket. It's easy because it takes a short time. But of course, it will be a harder takeoff than airplanes. But minutes later, you'll be in space. The real journey starts from there. Because it will probably take 8 or 9 months to get to Mars. Due to this long distance, your Mars vacation will mostly be space travel. So, your spacecraft has to be more comfortable than airplanes. You'll expect it to have restrooms, restaurants, showers, and even a pool. But what you'll probably find is something like this. Astronauts live on the International Space Station for months and eat their meals in such places. They play sports here. And here they bathe. Actually, they rub off. Since water is one of the most important consumables throughout the entire journey, wastewater must be recycled and made available quickly. As you can see, a space trip is more challenging than a 12-hour-long intercontinental flight in all conditions. About jet lag. Because we are detached from the world, we no longer have a concept of the day. Artificial days and nights will probably be created in the spaceship for your body to get used to it. In addition, since you will be in a zero-gravity environment all the time, you need to be prepared for changes in your body. After all, on the International Space Station, astronauts exercise 2.5 hours a day. Of course, it is possible to shorten this journey. You can build faster rockets, but there's another important point to consider here. In space, both Mars and Earth moves. Earth rotates around the Sun in 365 days, while for Mars, it takes 687 days, and Mars is more far. At some times during this time, Earth and Mars get so far away that even the Sun, Mercury and Venus get in the way. The solution is Mars retrograde. All of you, especially astrology lovers, must have heard of Mars retrograde. Times when we can witness an increase in frauds and deception. Confrontations are experienced. Secrets and lies are revealed. Yes, Mars retrograde is the period when Mars and Earth are closest to each other in their orbits around the Sun. So the journey to Mars should be done in Mars retrograde. And this time the astrologers are correct. Probably after 8-9 months of travel. You will need to wait at Mars for the next retrograde, which is in total 26 months. So your vacation on Mars has to be about a year. Anyway, let's continue our vacation. And finally we came to Mars. The first stage of the vacation may be for tourists to take a tour at the orbit of Mars. These tours provide tourists with a great opportunity to show off the spectacular landscapes and natural beauty of the red planet. Tourism on the surface of Mars, on the other hand, will be a more challenging task than tourism in orbit. Private companies will need to establish permanent colonies on Mars to accommodate tourists. In the first place, all the needs of the colony, such as water, air and food, can be brought from the world. However, in the future, it will be inevitable to use local resources for the colony to be self-sufficient. The technology and cost required for touristic trips to Mars could be a significant obstacle to making travel more widespread. However, with the private sector and governments investing in Mars exploration, the technology and money required for touristic activities can be reduced.
Of course, the first Mars tourists will be a very elite group around the world. But with the increase in investments, it is possible for Mars tourism to become more accessible in the future, as we demand it. It will take some time for you to get used to gravity after the zero-gravity environment in space during your first days on Mars. But after a few days of rest, your Mars vacation can now begin. So, where can we visit? The first touristic spot that comes to mind will be Mount Olympus. This volcano, which has a peak height of 22 kilometers, is almost as large as the surface area of France. Although it was formed due to underground activity billions of years ago, it is now dormant. Because Mars' core no longer has high temperature to create volcanic activity. Due to the absence of this magmatic core, there is no magnetic field to protect the atmosphere. Again, for this reason, there is no air to breathe and there is high radiation. Unfortunately, you have to wear protective Martian clothing at all times outside. The next sightseeing point is Valles Marineris, the Great Mars Canyon. This canyon is so big that it is 10 times larger than the Grand Canyon. It's big and deep enough to cut through American continent. In the depths of the canyon, the climatic conditions are a bit better for humans, so the first settlements may develop here. As for the daily tours, Martian safaris, trekking, rock hunting, sunset and sunrise activities, permaculture applications, and participation in scientific discoveries will be waiting for you throughout the year. Mars tourism will provide a holiday experience that people have never had before. The red soil of Mars, freely flying dust, the brightness of the stars and their unique scenes will create unforgettable memories that will adorn the dreams of tourists.